Hello and welcome to another Sunday edition of 7 Sports Extra Innings. I can't think of a better way to spend my day off than covering all the incredible high school diamond action from throughout the week. We'll be wrapping up the softball season and breaking down baseball quarterfinals and semifinals today. Of course, we'll be using the beautiful touch board. We should really come up with a name or something for this thing. Or better yet, if anybody wants to sponsor the touch board, just shoot me an email. But anyway, we've got some awesome softball and baseball action to get to. So let's step into that batter's box and send this thing to extras. Hit it. We've got one more game of softball from last week to wrap up the 2026 season. Just one of our teams made it to the state championship game, and that is the Anacoco Lady Indians taking on the Quitman Wolverines. Lady Indians looking to take home their second state championship in program history. Bottom of the first, no score. Hallie Kate Polich shows off the power, hitting a 3-run bomb over the fence, and the Lady Wolverines take a 3-0 lead early in the ball game. Lady Indians down 3-1 in the second. Ava Davis hits a line drive past a couple of Wolverines. Bree Dowden comes across home plate, and it's now just a 1-run deficit. Fourth inning, Quitman up 6-2 with a runner on third. Avery Watson finds some space in right field for the RBI single. Briley Bowers tacks on another run, and Quitman takes its largest lead of the game, 7-2. But the Lady Indians weren't going down quietly. Top of the seventh with bases loaded. Sari Procell rips this one to left center, and here come the Lady Indians. Procell clears the bases and gives her team some hope as they now trailed 7-5 and down to their final out. Anacoco looking for some more magic. Emily D'Amico makes contact, but she's thrown out at first, and that would do it. The Lady Indians fall just short of the state title as they go down 7-5 to Quitman. Well, no softball state championships for us to celebrate this year. Anacoco goes down to the number 2 seed Quitman in the state championship. So no, like I said, no softball championships for us to celebrate, but let's hope we can have some better luck with baseball. We've got one game to go over in Division I non-select from last week in the quarterfinals. Barb taking on Dutchtown. Barb's always a state title contender, but the Bucks had their hands full with Dutchtown in the quarterfinals. It's do or die time over at Barb in Game 3 against Dutchtown. Dutchtown with runners on, looking to get on the board. Jadarian Washington flips it to second base, and the Bucks turn the double play to get out of the inning. Jacob Regan at the plate with bases loaded, lays down the bunt to score Washington over from third. Regan makes it safely to first, and he's got the dugout fired up early in this one as Barb draws first blood. Top of the second, Griffin's looking to respond. Hayden Becknell hits a sac fly deep to left, and that gives plenty of time for the runner to come in. And we are now tied at 1 apiece, and Barb unable to hold off the Griffins down the stretch. The Bucks season comes to an end, 6-2, the final. Well, Barb with just 3 losses on the year, but 2 of those come to Dutchtown in the quarterfinals, ending their season. Dutchtown will be taking on Zachary in the semifinals. And just a quick refresh from last week, Sam Houston had no problem taking down Walker. They beat them in 2 games, and they'll take on the 14th seed Destrehan in the semifinals, and that is right where we are headed. The Division I non-select semifinals. Sam Houston taking on Destrehan, looking to punch their ticket to back-to-back state championship appearances. Game 1 for the Broncos, opening their semifinal series against Destrehan. Top of the first, Wildcats trying to fight their way on the board, but Owen Galley says, not on my watch. He strikes out a swinging Wildcat, his first of 11 on the night. It wouldn't be until the bottom of the 6th where the Broncos offense got going. Quinn Fiscanero slings a grounder to shortstop, but his throw sails high above the first baseman. Fiscanero capitalizes on the error, sliding his way to second, and he's fired up. Then Carson Iceman Chris delivers the dagger. He crushes this to right, a Wildcat unable to make the sliding grab, and Hudson Anderson heads on home, and that would do it. Sam Houston outlasts Destrehan in Game 1, 1-0. Head over to game 2 now. The Broncos just one win away from back-to-back trips to the state title. Sam Houston down 1-0 in the second. Cannon Kaiser looking to even the score, hits it short. The throw to first is off the mark, and Brock Blessington scores for the Broncos to tie it up. It's time for the temperature to drop in Moss Bluff. The Iceman enters the box in the second, and Carson Chris sends a frozen rope over the wall and left. The big 3-run home run gives Sam Houston a 4-1 lead in the second inning. The Iceman delivering in the semis. 4-2 Big Sam in the third. Ty Two-Fly adds on with a hard line drive to center. Smith's RBI double increases the lead to 3. Then the Sicilian slugger living up to his name in the third. Quentin Fiscanaro smacks a base hit into left. 2-run score for the Broncos to take a 7-2 lead. Sam Houston up 7-3 in the sixth, and Mr. One Time makes sure they keep the lead. Kaiser with a spectacular play from shortstop to keep Destrehan off the board. And bottom of the seventh, the defending state champs need one out to head back to Sulphur. Blessington snags the pop fly out in center, and the Broncos are headed to their second straight state championship appearance for the first time in school history, beating Destrehan 7-3. Well, Sam Houston is headed back to Sulphur, looking to run it back and win back-to-back state championships. Ooh, don't run away from me there, Broncos. There you go. In the state championship game, Dutchtown and Zachary still battling it out, so we'll see who faces Sam Houston next week. We'll tune in next week for that Sam Houston State Championship, but we are now moving on to Division III non-select, headed back to the quarterfinal rounds. Just a quick refresh from last week. Southbow beats Erath. They'll take on the top-seeded Sterlington in the semifinals. And we'll move on to Kinder's season coming to an end against Doyle. The Tigers will advance over the Yellow Jackets, and Westlake continues to roll on into the semifinals. And that is where we will continue on to the non-select Division III semifinals. And Southbow and Westlake are the two teams that have advanced. We'll start with the hosting Westlake taking on Doyle. Hadley Hardesty on the mound for Westlake in the semifinals. Doyle threatening in the first, bases loaded, but Hardesty keeps him stranded. He gets himself out of the jam with a strikeout. Rams fired up early. Time for big number 19 to enter the box in the first, and Hardesty crushes a line drive into center. Brody Anderson scores, and Graydon Ross dives headfirst to give the Rams an early 2-0 lead. Tigers threatening again in the sixth, and Hardesty going to work again. He gets another strikeout to get out number 2, and his catcher helps him out to retire the side. Brody Boudreaux rifles it to third for the final out to keep the Rams ahead by 2 heading into the final inning. Hardesty back on the bump and back to striking batters out. Hardesty sends the first 2 back to the dugout, and Cooper Cryer snags the final out of the game. Hardesty with the complete game shutout, and Westlake takes game 1 of the semifinals, beating Doyle 2-0. Now to game 2. Rain coming down in Westlake. A win sends the Rams to the state title game. Westlake struggling in the conditions early. Brody Anderson looking to field the bunt, but the throw to first is off the mark, and 2 Tigers reach home. Sloppy start for Westlake, down 4-0 in the second inning, but the Rams found their footing once the rain stopped. Their turn to capitalize on some errors. Down 4-2. Peyton Kyle with the bunt. 2 Tigers collide, and Westlake makes it 4-3 in the fourth. Tigers gifting Westlake some more in the fourth. Graydon Ross with the blooper. Doyle tries for the double play, but the throw to first is wild. Anderson slides home, and we are all tied. Brody Boudreaux keeping the score knotted in the top of the fifth. His throw is on the money for the out at second, and Boudreaux doing it from the batter's box later in the inning. He smacks a hard grounder. Isaac Jordan beats the throw home, and after storming all the way back, the Rams have the lead, and it's redemption time for Anderson in the fifth. He makes up for his early error with a 2 RBI single with bases loaded. Westlake goes up 7-4 and survives a late Doyle surge to win 10-9 and punch their ticket to the state championship. Well, Westlake continues to roll on into the state championship for the first time since 1996. Unfortunately, Southbow will not be joining them. Top-seeded Sterlington instead will move on to take on Westlake in the state championship next week. We'll move on to non-select Division 4. We're going back to the quarterfinals now. And as always, in Division 4, all of these games are win or go home. No three-game series in non-select Division 4. And we will start with the top-seeded Welsh taking on Haynesville. Non-select Division 4 quarterfinals, Welsh hosting Haynesville. Grant Hadel on the mound for the Hounds, and he was dealing early in this one to keep the Haynesville offense in check. Now in the third, Welsh up 2-1. Braden Thibodeau hits this one deep. It's off the glove of the center fielder, Levi Mallett. Comes in to score, and Thibodeau has the boys fired up as the Hounds keep chugging along. Later in the inning, Hounds looking to do more damage. Cole Lunsford makes solid contact up the middle. It's another error by Haynesville, and Welsh capitalizes by tacking on 2 more runs to make it 5-1. Let's head to the bottom of the fourth. Hounds still in control, up 6-1. Lunsford back at it, and he delivers once again, zipping that one to left, driving home 2 more runs as Mallett and Thibodeau make it to the promised land, and the Greyhounds are all over the Golden Tornado, up 8-1. Grant Hadel pitches a no-hitter with 13 strikeouts, and the Hounds beat Haynesville 9-1 to advance to the semifinals. Well, Welsh is going to advance on to the semifinals, and look who else advances with the big win on the road at Centerville. The number 5 Vinton Lions also advance into the semifinals, and what a matchup we have. The number 1 seed Welsh taking on 5 seed Vinton for a trip to the state championship. But we also had a local matchup in the quarterfinals to go over. Grand Lake taking on Oakdale. To the non-select Division 4 quarterfinals, Oakdale hosting Grand Lake. Top of the first, John Versuave at the plate. He launches this one deep to right. That one finds some green grass in the outfield for the RBI double as Zach Manuel scores, and the big fella gets the Hornets on the board early. Bottom of the fourth, same score. Oakdale's Gavin Thompson drills this one to left, giving plenty of time for Tylen Jackson to come home from third, and we are tied at 1 apiece. Let's head to the sixth, still tied. It's a wild pitch from the Warriors. Ryder Shields books it from 90 feet away, and he slides home, and the Hornets go back in front. Bottom of the inning, Channing Frank with the sac bunt to third. Versuave has to hurry with the throw to the plate, but Peyton Crawford beats it out, and we are knotted at 2-2. Bottom of the eighth, bases loaded, and that's ball 4. Warriors win it on a bases loaded walk, and Oakdale beats Grand Lake 3-2 to advance to the semifinals. Well, Oakdale advances to the semifinals to take on Mangum. Big win from Oakdale. Moving on, and let's fast forward a little bit to next week, previewing the awesome matchups we have in store. These games will be going head-to-head on Tuesday, and we couldn't have scripted it any better. Welsh taking on Vinton. Welsh looking for a little redemption after losing the state title last year, and Vinton trying to make it for the first time in program history. And if Oakdale can take care of Mangum, we'll have a local matchup for the state championship, of course. Make sure you stay tuned. Semifinals Tuesday, championship on Wednesday. But we aren't done now. To Class B for the quarterfinals, another local game. Hicks taking on Pitkin. Bottom of the fifth, Pick starting us off with some defense. The double play ends the inning. Check out the extension by first baseman Weston Marshall. We're tied at 0. Right back at you, says Pick, and this one looks like it's gone, but Slade Doherty's going to extend for the catch to save the season. How about some extra innings in the quarterfinals? Brock Bailey's going to send this one towards third base, and Hicks is going to launch towards first, but it's overthrown, and Lincoln Stevens, the pitcher, is going to slide home for the win. The Tigers are going to advance to the semifinals to face the winner of Weston and Holden. Pitkin wins 1-0. Well, Pitkin survives on to the semifinals. They go, and they will be taking on Holden in the semifinals, and we'll move on to our final bracket we have to look at today, and that is going to be Hackberry in Class C. They're unable to get it done. Ebarb gets the win to take on the top seed Maurepoix in the Class 3 semifinals. Well, now it's time for our play of the week, and it is getting chilly in the studio here. Carson, the Iceman Chris, always delivers for the boys in the Bluff. The Broncos were tied early in game 2, but Chris changed that in a hurry with a massive 3-run bomb in the state semifinals. Sam Houston is headed to their second straight state championship appearances, and the Iceman Carson Chris is our 7 Sports Extra Innings play of the week. Well, it is still a little cold in here, but it is time for you to select our team of the week. We just have 2 options for you today between our 2 teams headed to the state championship next week. Westlake in non-select Division 3 and Sam Houston looking to run it back in non-select Division 1. As always, make sure you hit the poll on our website, kplctv.com, after the show to vote, and I will be getting the winning team's head coach on next week's episode of The Playbook. And with that, it is time to walk this thing off. We've got 1 more week of high school baseball left. We didn't have any softball state champions this year, so let's hope next week we can celebrate a couple of baseball state champions. Next week will be the final episode of Extra Innings, so we've got plenty to look forward to. But in the meantime, enjoy what is left of your weekend. I know I will, and of course, I'll see you right back here next week.